But the reason why we bring some of these questions up is, take for instance, I mean, yesterday we had Chigozie Obani here, and he raised some very fundamental matters. He talked about, if you go everywhere, you see the Hilux vehicles in convoy at that the insurgents use, most of them, if not all, brand new. And he said, look, why can't we, some of these vehicles that have been decimated, that we have in our possession, the security now, look at the VIN number, trace it to the manufacturer, who ordered it, how did they go from one to the other? We could get all of those. So, if we look at that, would we say we've done it? Did we get results?
Well, I agree with you that we need to review our strategies, or put another way, to improve on our strategies. Now, if you are talking of VIN number, the Hilux numbers and all this, first of all, we don't have a central database that you can rely on. Every agency, this Federal Road Safety Corps, the Nigerian Police, the State Security, they all have their different database. So we need a central database. Until that is done, it's going to be difficult. That's why I say that under the prevailing circumstances, the security agencies are doing well. I'm not saying that they cannot do better. They can do better. We need to, like you said, if the VIN numbers and all this, how do you get them? Some of these vehicles are smuggled into the countries without proper registration. Some of them are not even registered. So it becomes a problem and a big challenge. What we can still improve on those things. I agree with you.
And then talking about collaboration with all of these agencies, yes, we understand that the security agencies are collaborating to help one another, but then only recently the FRSC did all of those revamping. They talked about the plate numbering, the registrations, and then you have the immigrations, you have the customs. These agencies can work together and get some results. Even if those vehicles enter the country illegally, if you get those manufacturing numbers, you don't have to necessarily start here. You could go to the manufacturers, and some of those things have not been seen to have been done. That's part of the challenge.
Yeah, it's a challenge, like I said earlier. You see, the core stakeholders in this fight against terrorism, like the army, the police, the SSS, the joint task force, they need to collaborate more. You agree with me also that the extent of collaboration has improved. What we used to have, this unhealthy rivalry between the agencies, have been reduced. They must be there. So we should not deceive ourselves that it has been removed. But it has been reduced to the barest minimum. And that is what I think we should be doing to reduce the effect of terrorist activities. You know, so we need to do more in terms of collaboration.
Well, trying to do more, I think it comes back to the people, because time and again, until we got the 112 short code, which was given the last time the DSS was on the program, loads and loads of Nigerians would specifically want to know what they should be doing at this point in time.
Yeah, for Nigerians, it calls for extra vigilance. We need to liaise more with the security agencies, provide more information to the security agencies, and observe our environment. In fact, I have also advocated, the formation of Neighborhood Watch, which is observed in other advanced countries, which will comprise of retired personnel of the army, the various paramilitary agencies. Let them have this sense of belonging to assist the security agencies. What I'm doing it because I believe that the country has contributed so much in training me, and I will not just retire and go and sit down. So I also call on retired personnel to get involved, whether they are paid or not. Everything is not about money. They have critical roles to play in collaborating with the various agencies. But the problem remains that once one retires, you feel not wanted or not being assisted anymore. But if you know that you have taken an oath of allegiance to the country, that you continue to defend and protect, besides having served in the paramilitary service, you owe it a responsibility, a civic responsibility to your country. So I want to appeal to our retired personnel to get more involved, and the government to get them properly organized to ensure that they assist our security agencies. But most importantly, we need to be extra vigilant. Like it said, that the pride of liberty is eternal vigilance. We have to be vigilant.
Well, excuse me. One of the things that also comes to the fore, I mean, is also what we're doing in terms of our borders. I mean, it would seem that we keep saying it again and again. You've talked about smuggling. You've talked about, I mean, when my colleague mentioned the Hilux vehicles, we also saw a recent video released by Boko Haram, so to speak, and there was a massive APC. One of the things that comes to mind is, how do these tanks, this equipment, get into our country, you know, through our borders unnoticed?
Yeah, if the video you are talking of is the one I watched, that video was not shot in Nigeria. I think it was somewhere around Algeria or so, where you see convoy of vehicles, communications with. Definitely that was not in Nigeria, if it's the one I'm talking about that I watched. So these are times ploy by terrorists or mischief makers to deceive the people. So much as I agree that we need to do more in terms of collaboration, but we cannot go forward without building a central database. It's very important.
What stops us from having this database? Because the NIMC has been mandated ever since, I think there was one Federal Executive Council meeting where it was directed that they should streamline all of those data to one and get it moving. But have you heard anything ever since?
Well, I think the people, the stakeholders, the people involved are watching. And if we must be serious in fighting this terrorism, they need to come together. We need to get a central database that is accessible to the police, the SSS, the army, especially in terms of fingerprints. You know, these are database analysis. In terms of VIN numbers, vehicle registration numbers, and the rest of them. We need to intensify this. The government needs to take this action very urgently.
Let me ask you this. Let me jump in on this. We're out of time completely, but could you just say this in 30 seconds? Do we have a functioning forensic lab in this country?
Well, I remember we used to have a forensic lab in Oshodi, but for now, I'm not in the service, so I don't know the extent, but I know that they have a forensic analysis experts in the various services. The police have, but whether they have a forensic lab specifically is what but I know that we have forensic analysts.
Okay. If it's the one in Oshodi that we've been to several times, okay, we'll rest our case. Mr. Ejiofor is a security consultant, a former director for the SSS. Thank you for speaking with us today on Sunrise Daily. Well, it's now time to move over for the headline news, and Ayotine Balogun is here again with that one. Go ahead, please.